you launch Eclipse and create a project for exercise number 1 for today? And 4. Okay, so if you can go to, let's say, you know what? I think for now, we're going to create a new project in a moment. We can just continue from what we did last time. So since we got 4 classes already, so we're going to build on top of that. So remember in the course class, we actually got set letter grade and also the constructor. Okay, and then we got 4 attributes there. And also we got the student record class. And in this class here, we got ID, first name, last name, program, the year of entrance, and the year of graduation. Okay, so that's what we got. And we also got an array of courses, and also we got a number of courses. So these are the 2 things that are the most important for this exercise. So we are using the number of courses. We're using the number of courses counter. We're using the number of courses counter to see how many courses there are, and also each time when we're trying to call the add course method, we're going to use that particular counter to say where in the array we can store the new course. Okay? And then every time after, at the end of the method, we're going to increment the counter by 1. Okay? That's something we learned from last time. Okay? That's something I assume you got it. Otherwise, you will ask me for help. Okay, very good. Go move that way. It's a bit scary. Okay, so that's what we got. So now we're going to define a new method to see how we can calculate the GPA for a particular student who might be registered for up to, I believe, how many courses? Maybe 10? Let's see the constructor. The number of courses, 5 courses, yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find it. Yeah, maximum 5. Let's do some registration for the students. Let's try to build on top of that method again. If you go back to Package Explorer here and go to Registration System Tester, okay, we got something here already. So now you can see R1 is the student record for Gene Davis, CSE major, and year of entrance 2016, year of graduation 2020. Okay, so far we have registered 2 courses for Jin so far. Okay, we can already calculate the GPA for him. Okay, but not we can, but not yet. But let's say here, let's say now, at the end of the semester, we have to set the letter grade for Jin. Okay, so now let's see what we can do, how we can do this. So now let's say set letter grades for Jin. Or you can say, maybe it's more, say R1. Okay, R1 is the student record. Okay, so now I think in order to understand this correctly, I have to draw the diagram for you again. Okay, this one is not as complicated as the one we saw today in the class, but we should be able to handle this. Let's see. Let's see line number 5 and 6. So line number 5, we're creating a course object called CSE114. That's the name of the variable, and then that one is pointing to a course object. And the 2 attributes we're trying to initialize is the name and also number of credits, if that's mandatory or not. Okay? So these are the 3 attributes. Let me check. Maybe it's either called name or title. I forgot. It's called name. Okay. Good. Okay, so name. Also, you have the number of credits. I'll say NOC. And also, if that's mandatory or not, I'll say IN. If that's mandatory or not. And also the letter grades. I'll say LG. Okay. So now for the name for CSE114, just CSE114. The number of credits would be 4. If it's mandatory or not will be set to true. As for the letter grade, we don't have anything yet. That's something we're going to set in a moment. So line number 6, we got something very similar. So now we have another course objects, and the name is Physics 131. Physics 131. And And then it has the same structure of the objects. Course, and 1, 2, 3. So we have the name, number of credits, is mandatory or not, letter grades. Okay. So now we have physics 131, and also number of credits, that one is 3. And then it is not mandatory, let's say it's false. Okay, letter grade, not set yet. Okay, so let's see line number 8. For line number 8, we have a student record object called R1. Okay. Let me draw that on the top. So this one would be a big one. So you have R1 is pointing to a student record. I'll just say SR, student record objects. And initially, we simply set the ID of the student to be 111 initially. ID of the student 111. And other attributes are actually simply just default values, like the first name, last name, program, year of entrance, year of graduation. So they are simply just null. Okay. One thing to notice, if you go to the constructor for student record, if you go there, you can see that there were two things we did. First of all, we assign whatever ID it is as the arguments to the ID. So for example, over there we said 111 to be the ID. And the second thing we did was to initialize the courses array to be an array of size 5. Right? That's what line 26 does. Okay. So now that means one of the attributes is called courses. And that one is going to be an array of size 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we say that the courses is assigned to be a new array of size 5, we haven't assigned any courses to the element yet, not yet. But initially, each one of them just pointing to null. Initially. Okay, just default value for reference type. Okay. And if you go back to the tester here, you can see that in the tester there, we also try to use the mutator methods to set the first name, last name, the program, the year of entrance, etc. Right? So after these lines here, you will have first name, last name, program, program, and also year of entrance, the year of graduation. Okay, so now the obvious values. Jim Davis CSE 2016, 2020. Okay, so also good. So that's the object structure after line number 13. So you can see the only thing that's left to be done is about how to draw connections between this course object here and the first element here. We haven't done that yet. That's something we're going to do. Somehow I want to say the first course of this student record should be pointing to this course objects. And the second course should be pointing to this object here. Somehow. But we're going to do that. Okay. Are you guys following? No? Yes? No? Okay, good. I'll take silence as a yes, rather than no. Okay. Okay, let's see line number 16 and 17. Okay. Line number 16, we are trying to call the add course for the first time. So now if you go to the add course method there, if you go to student record here, you got an add course method over here. Okay? And now it is going to assign, let me put the line over here. Okay? You say R1 dot add course. And then you say CSE114. Also R1, the same context object, dot add course, physics 131. Physics 131. Okay, and now remember, let me just repeat the lines over here. There was a method in the student record class called add course. add course C. And the implementation is incredibly easy, just 2 lines over there. So we got courses and we got number of courses. Courses, the number of courses is assigned to C, and also we increment the counter, number of courses, plus plus. Oh, there's something I forgot to draw. There's another attribute here, that is the counter value. The number of courses. Okay, so now let's pay attention to this value here. That's really important. And because you can see that in the constructor there, in the constructor of the class, we did not assign any value to number of courses. So it's going to get a default value 0. Okay? Initially, that's simply 0. Okay? So now, let's see line number 1 and 2. Let's see how the execution of these 2 lines are going to change the object structure. Okay, let's do one by one. So now, when we say R1.add course, we're going to execute this block of code, add course. Okay, and now CSE114 will replace every occurrence of C. Okay, so it's going to be CSE114. CSE114. And the current value of number of courses is simply just 0. Agreed? So that means we are trying to assign CSE114 into the first position of the courses array. And this assignment simply means copy over the address that is stored in CSE114 into there. So now, 0 is here. Rather than pointing to null, it is going to point to over here. This is the object that is pointed to by CSE114. Okay, that's the first time. So let me say that's 1. That's completed by line number 1, step number 1. And step number 2. In this case, we are trying to call the same method on the same context objects, R1.add course. But now, the argument here is physics131. So now that means C will be replaced by physics131. And this will be replaced by physics131, right? And now the value of number of courses, from the previous one, we actually had to increment the value by 1. I forgot that. Okay, so that has been incremented to 1. Okay, so now currently the value has been incremented to 1. So now we're going to store physics131 into position 1, which is here. Okay? So now if you say that, rather than pointing to null, it is going to point to wherever physics131 is pointing to. And then after that, we're going to increment the value of this by 1. So it's going to be 2. So that really means, let's say, if you try to do another line here, if you say R1.add course, I don't know, let's say CSE303, for example. If you try to do this, so that means whatever course object that is pointed to by CSE303 is going to be stored in position 2, because now the counter value is 2. Okay, we just have to keep moving the counter to the right by 1 position each time. Are we good? Good. Yes, very good. Silence is good. Okay, good. Let's see how we can now calculate the GPA. Okay, so somehow we had to run a loop. Okay, well, I'll ask you the question about the loop counter in a moment. But the idea is, first of all, because the letter grade has not been set yet, so we have to set a letter grade. But there are more than one way to set it. Let me show you how. Okay. First of all, do you agree that if I say the following path, if I say CSE114, so that's path number 1. Okay, I'll say 1 here. Path number 2. If I say R1 dot courses at position 0. So these two are the same. You can see CSE114 is referring to this object here, and R1.courses at position 0 is referring to this same object here, right? As we just learned today about comparing addresses, if now I do the following, if I say CSE114 equals R1.courses 0, I should get true because they refer to the same object. Let's try. Okay. Let's apply what we learned today from the class. Okay. Let's go back to tester here. Let's before we set edit grade. Okay. So now, okay, CSE114 and R1.courses at position 0 refer to the same course objects, i.e., the stored addresses are the same. How do we check that? Okay, so now let's say system.out.println. Okay, let's say CSE114 equals R1.courses at position 0. Is that true or false? Okay, let's try. So we can, let me say this print. Okay, so I can separate that into 2 lines, which is easier for you to read. System.out.println. CSE114 equals R1.courses at position 0. Okay, I'll give you time to type. Okay, to see what I'm checking, right? I'm checking to see that 2 paths refer to the same objects. Okay, good. Let's have a check to see what's the output here. If you do that, true. Okay. Similarly, if I do, can I just copy these 2 lines here? I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to say physics 131 equals. You want to take a guess what I'm going to write here? 1 here, right? The second course. Okay. Physics 131 and courses 1. I'm saying that basically physics 131 is the same object as R1.courses at position 1. They refer to the same objects. Okay. Of course, in order to see this, you have to know how to draw the diagram. Okay? That's why I said it's important. Okay.
I had a question.
Of course.
Because for the 2 lines for CSE114, like if we put it in a single line, it has an error, and if we have it in 2 second lines, it doesn't. So I was wondering why that happens.
Sure. You mean sometimes you combine line number 28 to 27.
Yeah.
Let's try. Yeah. Let's see. My guess is the following. Let's try. Okay. If you say plus here, just that, right? Okay, I got the same error. Let me read it. Okay, the reason is because somehow Java is trying to evaluate this first. It's trying to treat the plus as a concatenation. So it's trying to say CSE114 equals R1.courses 0, the string literal there, concatenated with the address of CSE114, which would be a string.
Oh, so do we need a bracket?
Yes. Oh. So what you need here is just parenthesis. Yeah, it's quite a subtle point you have to notice. But I would say if you write this line in the quiz or in the test, I'll be okay. Yeah, you're not a compiler, you know. Although you might become one when you get more experienced. Okay, good. That's a very good question. Very good. Okay, so let me try another one for you. How about this? If we say system.out.print, no, actually, let me just copy these 2 lines. I want to show you one thing that's false. CSE114. CSE114. This would be false because CSE114 refers to this object here. R1.courses at position 1 refers to this separate course objects. Of course, we're talking about two different objects. So the addresses referred to by these paths are not the same. So that's why it's false. Okay, that's something you have to really think about. Okay, let's try that. So we got true, true, and also this is false. Okay, so now let's see how we can set the letter grade. Okay, one thing to note, because we know that CSE114 and also R1 that courses 0, they refer to the same objects. So now both of them can be the context objects when you're trying to call the set letter grade method. What I meant by is this. So now I'm also going to write into Eclipse. So now I can either say CSE114 dot set letter grade. Let's say he got maybe A for that course. That's going to work. And now R1 that courses 0 also refer to the same course objects. So this can also be the context objects for set letter grade. So you can also say set letter grade and also A. So there are two ways to write it. So basically, what I'm just trying to say, this is the context object in this case. This is the context object in the second case. So in the first case, the context object is CSE114. And in the second case, the context object is R1 that courses at position 0. And both context objects are the same. Okay. Are we good? Kind of? Good? Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, good. So now there are two ways where you do that. You can either say this or you can say that. Okay, either way. Okay, why don't we try? Okay, now we can say because CSE114 and R1 dot courses at position 0 refer to the same course objects. We can use either as the context objects. Okay, so that means there are two ways for us to do that. So now we can either say CSE114 dot set letter grade to be A. That's one way. You can say alternatively, and you can have R1 dot courses at position 0 that set letter grade. That's the second way. Of course, in this case here, it will be the same effect. You're just setting the letter grade twice, right? Yeah, I will just comment out maybe the second one. You can write either one if you like. So my point is, if you write either this or that, the effects will be the same. The letter grade of that particular course object will be set as A. A here. Okay. Okay, let's say this guy here failed the physics, which might be the case actually. Physics is harder, right? So physics 131 dot set letter grade F. Oh, for this one, I can use the different path. Okay, how about we use this? Dot, let me say this. R1 dot courses array at position 1, the second course. Dot set letter grade F. You can say alternatively, you can say physics 131 dot set letter grade F. You can try both. Okay, so now for this particular student record here, we got two courses, and the letter grade, one is A, the other one is F. So now we need to figure out a way to calculate the GPA, right? we certainly somehow need a loop to say, well, we want to go over the courses array one by one, and we're only going to go over the elements that are actually not null somehow, right? Because we got 2 courses over here, so we should only go for elements 0 and 1. But from 2 onwards, we don't have any courses there, so they should not be included in the calculation. But now, A and F here, they're simply letters. How do we know the numerical values? So if you, maybe you don't have the handouts right now, but let me show you. If you refer to the handouts for that, Labs, over there, 8. You will see that there was a table there to say, well, A should correspond to 8, B should correspond to 7, etc. So now somehow we can say, well, letter grade A here corresponds to 8, 8.0. And letter grade F here corresponds to 5.0. So now we're going to add it up. 8.0 plus 5.0, which is 13, divided by how many courses we have, which is 2. That'll be 6.5. So that should be his GPA, which is about C plus or something like that. Okay. How do we do that? So now, I will try to help you a little bit, but I'll let you try as well. Okay. Let's go back to the Eclipse. But I think actually I'm trying to set up a scenario for you. You should really have to understand very well. So why do we have such object structure? And why actually having either this context object here or having this context object here has the same effects? We'll say more on Friday. Okay, if you go back to the student record class here, we're going to define a new method. Okay, that's the last method we're going to do for this example. Okay, so we're going to have a method called, let's say, getGPA. Okay, so for this particular student record, we're going to get a GPA from that. And the GPA, let's say, is a double value because it's going to be numerical. I'm going to return a double from the courses and then get GPA. Okay, we don't need any extra any parameters here, simply because once we get access to the courses array, we can just go over one by one. And for each course, we can simply see what's the letter grade and just convert that into a corresponding numerical grade, numerical points, and then add them up together. So now I'm going to write some comments here for you to help you. Okay, so now go over the courses array for each course. First, get the, let me just make it more bullet points like. First, get its letter grade. Convert the letter grade to its to numerical points. Okay, and now add up the points and calculate the average. That's kind of the hints for you. Of course, you got to return whatever you calculate. What about I give you about 10 minutes trying to do this, just a single method. Okay, try to see how you can do that. And that'll be the last method we will do for this example here. And then after this, I'll try to do a few examples from the lecture slides here, just to help you with the understanding. Let's try maybe 10 minutes for you. Okay, 10 minutes. Okay, I think pause the recording here. That should be part 1.